Chapter 1 The Mysterious Smith. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Where am I? Zoe woke up suddenly. The brain is in chaos, as if it is filled with paste, filled with the memories of a 7-year-old British boy, which are short and warm, painful and sad, and finally numb. My name is Ryan Smith. Suddenly it changed from Chinese to English, and from a deep and rich man's voice to a clear boy's voice, as if there were two people talking in this small room. I am a wizard, a scion of a small British family. My parents died due to magic experiments when I was 5 years old. I was left to live with a house elf. The companion remembered in a clear voice, and his head felt like a bottle of ice water was poured from the top of his head. I was born on July 31, 1980, the same birthday as Harry Potter, who defeated Voldemort. Soon after, Voldemort came to the streets, and the family's life became more comfortable. The Ravenclaw parents had free time to start their own little experiment. Hey, Jack. A life with 2 big bat-like ears and a pair of protruding green eyes as big as tennis balls appeared in front of Ryan. Master Ryan, if you need anything, I'll ask for your service. Give me a cup of black tea and light a candle. I want to sit for a while. Ryan rubbed his temples. After sorting out the memory, a strange feeling filled my mind. Under this feeling, Ryan could even see his soul, shining like a bright moon, surrounded by some diamond-like debris, which were slowly being pulled in and integrated into the moon, and his thoughts, accompanied by an invisible tentacle, touched this star. Then he was suddenly ejected, and a blue light panel appeared in front of him. Ryan looked at the house elf Jack and found that only he could see it. On the upper right is the full-length portrait of Ryan Smith. If you click on it with your mind, you can see more carefully. He is not like a 7-year-old boy with a height of 149 centimeters, short black hair, silver white eyes, fair skin, and a hint of baby fat. Under the status bar, there is a series of numbers: race, wizard, strength, 5, normal human limit is 10, constitution, 20, the limit for ordinary people is 10, special mutant mental power, 10, the limit for ordinary people is 10, skill, thinking LV1, 3%. The sudden discovery of his skills caught Ryan's attention. After noticing the skill column, I suddenly understood the origin of the skill. As long as I do something wholeheartedly, the skill will be generated, and there is no upper limit for breakthroughs. After roughly understanding the principles of the panel, I turned my attention to the columns of strength, constitution, and special variant mental power. It's so uncomfortable to watch. Isn't it called magic in the original work? Ryan struggled in his heart. Unexpectedly, the panel also turned into magic power according to his own thoughts. In a blink of an eye, it was already dawn. I looked at the sun and said to myself, there are still 4 years left in Hogwarts. You wait for me. I'm coming. Smith, a common British surname, originally meant a person who made things with metal materials. It has always been an important profession in history, and in the magical world, it is a rare family that is proficient in alchemy. This surname has a magical power, and every Smith is the most inconspicuous person in the crowd. In a room made of silver-white metal, the walls are covered with wonderful magic words. Directly opposite the entrance is the portrait of an old man who looks kind. Starting from the old man, there is a dense golden family tree. The earliest one is that the old man can even dating back to the Middle Ages. At the bottom is a lone name, Ryan Smith. If you look closely, this name is made up of Ouroboroses, which are constantly devouring their tails. The other names are also made up of various magical creatures, such as thunderbirds, phoenixes, and even trolls, but these magical creatures have long been being motionless also represents death. In this room, Ryan slowly flipped through a book called Smith's Minutes. It is filled with the inventions, production methods, materials, etc. of each ancestor, a pure metal wand made of mithril mixed with hundreds of magical creatures, an invisibility cloak that is not invisible but consistent with the surrounding environment, and a wisdom hood that cools the scalp. The greatest invention among them is this hut, which can be carried around by the contemporary owner of the house and is an alchemy room that only Smith can enter. The magic text on its inner wall is the ultimate embodiment of Smith's inherited magic. It was the invention of that old man, William Smith. Every Smith must have an invention of his own before the age of 25, otherwise he will no longer be able to enter the hut. The predecessor's parents never started their own experiments due to economic reasons, and Death Eater cholera, the disappearance of Voldemort, the arrival of peace, and the recovery of the economy contributed to his own death. George Smith was his father's name, and George's metal magic wand was the culprit that caused the death of his parents. Metal wands, also known as guns, are another name in the wizarding world. It has been 3 days since Ryan came into this world. Race, wizard, strength. 7, normal human limit is 10, constitution, 21, the limit for ordinary people is 10, magic power, 10, normal human limit is 10, skills, thinking LV2, 5%. Body transformation LV2, 70%. Alchemy LV1, 0.1%, this is the result of 3 days. In addition to researching his identity information, Ryan also insists on getting up early every morning to read and exercise. LV2 thinking has made Ryan's thinking quick and his memory greatly enhanced. He is also able to slowly recall some memories of his past life that he thought he had long forgotten. The LV2 body transformation has allowed Ryan's body to develop in a more perfect and healthy direction. After all, according to what Ryan slowly recalled about Harry Potter, whether it is the movie version or the novel version, positioning is still more important. If you hide quickly enough, even Avada Kedavra will not be able to catch up with you. As for the importance of physical fitness, just like in the original book, Professor McGonagall is considered a powerful wizard. In the 5th Order of the Phoenix, he was hit by 4 or 5 coma spells. Because of his thinness and old age, he almost lost his life. But Hagrid, with his strong physique and giant bloodline, was hit by a spell. Nothing happened at all, but he stood out from the siege. Based on the past issues of the Daily Prophet that Jack has sent over the past few days, it can be roughly determined that he has not traveled through fan fiction. But it is also a pity that Snape, who can suppress demons at every turn, talks about the brains of trolls, and steals souls. Think about it, Dumbledore who put the Veritaserum in the drinks and snacks can no longer be seen, Ryan said to himself. Voldemort's Horcrux is relatively easy to deal with. Ravenclaw's diadem is in the room of requirement at Hogwarts. It can be destroyed by known fire and basilisk fangs. The diary can be directly controlled by Ginny in the 2nd grade. To get it, you have to wait for Sirius to rehabilitate you, or go to Black's house to get Slytherin's pendant. The remaining 4 are more troublesome. Hufflepuff's cup is in Lestrange's vault, and the Resurrection Stone is also the ring is in Gaunt's old house, surrounded by the magic planted by Voldemort, and Nagini is always by Voldemort's side. Harry Potter can't kill her. In fact, the easiest thing is to write an anonymous letter directly to Dumbledore. Just be careful when picking up the Horcrux, the Resurrection Stone, and don't be tempted to wear it. The rest, except for Harry Potter and Nagini, are quick. I guess he can do it in a day. Although Castle Smith blocked Voldemort's 3 invasions, under the magical magic, Smith, who is famous for being secretive, is still almost unknown to the pureblood family and the public. With such a wonderful magical power, I don't have to worry about being exposed when writing to Dumbledore. Even if I am exposed, it doesn't matter. Dumbledore's moral character is still relatively high, but Dumbledore did it all. Why did he travel back in time? Besides, this is the real world. It's better to be cautious and try it yourself first. A diary is the easiest. If it doesn't work, tell him again. Chapter 2 Completed Experiments. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the Smith family Chamber of Secrets, each magical creature that makes up a member represents that person's magical nature. This is the invention of Font Smith, the son of the ancestor William Smith. It records the status of each Smith family member and can detect the magical essence of each Smith. What's more special is that it marks its nature through mythology or existing magical creatures. I guess William Smith is a guy who likes magical creatures like Hagrid, and its characteristics can be seen intuitively, but Ryan still has to compare it with Wundt Smith. Exploring the unknown creatures can be understood. For example, the magical nature of the members of the Thunderbirds is revealed to be that the magical powers of Thunderbirds are better at calling the wind and rain, while the magical nature of Lane Ouroboros is almost endless resilience. but for the wizards in Harry Potter, it's a bit tasteless. After Ryan recalled the original work and read the Smith family's book collection, Ryan discovered that the wizard's magic is more like physical strength, while modern magic is a product of stability and low energy consumption. The original work never showed any wizards have withdrawals for insufficient magic power. Even Avada Kedavra, an ordinary little wizard can cast it, but it is not powerful enough. According to the fake Moody Crouch, it can only make him have a little nosebleed. Moreover, the magic in this world, especially some advanced magic spells, emphasizes the need to have a specific emotion when casting it, which in fantasy terms is the state of mind. For example, Avada Kedavra must have a strong and beneficial desire to kill, Crusader must have strong hatred or a desire to torture people, and it is best to get some kind of happiness from this behavior. The Patronus charm requires the happiest and most positive emotions in life. All in all, Ryan's magical nature only means that his resilience is stronger, and he is more suitable for some ancient magic that has been eliminated with high energy consumption and high power. The magical nature of Ryan's father, George William, is closer to that of gunpowder, and he can easily manipulate flames to create explosions, which is close to Seamus, who in the original work can explode even if he uses Leviosa or the floating spell, his invention of the metal wand made the most of. His magical properties, thereby releasing powerful and beneficial magic bullets. The inventions in the Smith family are all very useful, especially the Mithril wand, which uses the blood of all common magical creatures and can adapt to anyone and increase the power of spells. If Lane wants to take this invention out of Smith's alchemy room, he must complete a new invention. Take the invention of Lane's father, George Smith, which was just one step away from being completed. Ryan consulted the manuscripts of his father and mother, and found out that they were gifted. Ryan's alchemy foundation was very broad and solid. With the control and transformation of material properties, coupled with the mathematics foundation in high school and his previous life, he quickly found the point of error. The only mistake was in the math. I miscalculated one digit and lost 1 ounce of the cooling potion. To be honest, it is a pity. The alchemy hut is a magical item that can guarantee the wizard's safety to the greatest extent. Unfortunately, if an invention is not completed and certified in the hut before turning 25, you will no longer be able to enter it after the age of 25, if it hadn't been for the appearance of Voldemort that left his father, George Smith, with no energy to invent. Otherwise he would have been fine even if something went wrong in the alchemy hut. We are just short of materials now, and the last ingredients will be almost there tomorrow. The weather is fine, and we are in a castle in Nottingham Forest that ordinary people cannot label or detect. Ryan stood in front of the window and started exercising for the day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, second quarter of chest expansion exercise, Ryan muttered silently in his mind, and his body danced to the beat. Race, wizard, strength, 9, normal human limit is 10, constitution, 25, the limit for ordinary people is 10, magic power, 15, normal human limit is 10, skills, thinking LV2, 39%. Body transformation LV3, 1%. Alchemy LV2, 2%. Alchemy has almost advanced as I read various documents. Although my father's invention led to magical accidents, it was only due to his overconfidence and the poor mathematics in the wizarding world. The metal wand, that is, the shell of the gun has been completed, and there is only one left to enlighten the spirit. The rest is waiting for Jack. After the alchemy circle is activated, just add the cooling potion at the critical time. Moreover, my safety can be protected to the greatest extent in the alchemy hut of my ancestor William Smith. After the exercise, Ryan thought while drinking black tea. Jack, are your things ready? With a loud, echoing crack, the house elf Jack appeared in front of Ryan. Here, Master Ryan, the potion you want. Ryan picked up a piece of hay, which was the most important part of the cooling potion, wormwood, together with narcissus root powder. It can be used to prepare a very powerful sleeping pill. 1 dose of water of life and death. In the alchemy cabin, the alchemy array was slowly activated under Ryan's magic, a gun made of obsidian. It looks a bit like an M1911 pistol, with strange lines constantly appearing on its surface. Bah, bah, bah. It's time. Ryan introduced the cooling potion into the alchemy array. Ryan's magic also flows with the introduction of coolant, leaving beautiful lines on the metal wand. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The magic text around the gun continued to absorb the light, and the gun body trembled like Parkinson's disease. Gradually, the buzzing sound disappeared as the alchemy was completed. It's done. Ryan was overjoyed. As the saying goes, the divine object is self-concealed, and the gun gradually returned to its normal appearance. Ryan picked it up, as if a stream of cold water flowed from his fingers all over his body. For some reason, it may be because of the birth of Ryan's magic power. At this moment, Ryan's perception seems to have two selves. The gun is the man, and the man is the gun, aiming at the target that has been prepared long ago, injecting magic power. Silver light bullets continue to pour out of the muzzle. Look at my infinite recharge virtual flash. Ryan was very excited. This was the first time that he created a great magic item almost from scratch. And Ryan has only been here for less than a month. However, the power is still not as powerful as his father expected. After all, the nature of his magic is explosive, but Ryan's is more durable and has stronger recovery ability. Next, think about whether you still need to choose to take out the mithril wand. With the Black Knight who loves the gun, the wand is not very useful, to be honest. Just injecting magic power is a simple light bullet. What if it is a spell? The Black Knight was tempered with his own magic power, and was highly adaptable. The light bullets or spells fired by the Black Knight were also faster than ordinary spells. Gut Allah, magic gun. Ryan pretended to chant the spell, quickly pulled the gun from his waist, and silently chanted the spell in his heart. 4 pieces. The silver crescent-shaped light blade shot out from the muzzle. So fast. And it's better than the spell cast with the magic wand. Worthy of me. Chapter 3 Diagon Alley. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Time flies, and in the blink of an eye, 3 days passed. In the past 3 days, Ryan tried many skills in using firearms. Thinking at level 2 not only made his thinking more agile, but he could also subconsciously recall some memories that he had swept away in his previous life. The era when Ryan was still growing up in his previous life was an era when martial arts was popular, and there were all kinds of martial arts secrets in his home at that time. Relying on the unique talent brought by the panel, as long as he succeeds once, he will succeed next time. If he devotes himself wholeheartedly, he will be rewarded. Ryan combined the few spells he just learned, and the fluorescent lights flashed and fell apart. New skills such as blazing flames, clear springs, and whirlwind sweeps have been developed. Race, wizard, strength, 9, normal human limit is 10, constitution, 26, the limit for ordinary people is 10, magic power, 16, normal human limit is 10, skills, thinking LV2, 77%. Physical transformation LV3, 32%. Alchemy LV2, 22%. Charms LV1, 45%, Potions LV1, 55%. Transfiguration LV1, 15%. Gunfighting LV1, 89%. Martial Arts LV1, 66%. Gunfighting is a mixed skill developed by integrating magic, transformation, alchemy, martial arts and other skills. Now Ryan can be said to be fast and accurate with his guns. Moreover, with the help of this core skill of thinking, he can also use precise movement calculations to launch the maximum damage attack at the position with the least damage. He can shoot into the blind spot anywhere around him and increase the power of the bullets by 20%, even with its own body as the center and the prototype geometry as the plane reference. All positions around it that can be attacked will be calculated, and every possible attack direction around the body will be shot, which can exist as both attack and defense at the same time. Cooperating with the Black Knight, Ryan can now easily kill adult wizards. It has been nearly 3 months since Ryan traveled through time. He discovered that his family is not only mysterious, but also a homebody. Whether it is food, clothing, or drinking, these have already been automated. Even if he does nothing, I won't starve to death. Every smith is committed to a person or family's ability to survive alone in the wizarding world, and contributes to this from generation to generation. Common pigs, sheep, beef, and even rabbit meat are also supplied by corresponding ranches around the castle. Clothing and fabrics are also produced by House-Elves and alchemy robots. Even common alchemy and potion materials are also produced by corresponding manners. At the same time, Ryan also discovered that his family was not completely insulated from the magical world. Almost all the shops in Diagon Alley were secretly funded by his family. The magical contract studied and developed from the ancient Greek period restricted everything, making everything other wizards, and even Gringotts knew that this dividend should be paid and should be transferred to the Smith family's vault, but they ignored this, and a steady stream of cash flowed into the Gringotts-Smith family's vault. But it is also time to purchase a batch of books. For some reason, there are too few basic books at home at this stage. It cannot be said that there are none. Most of them are basic books related to alchemy. And those about magic are all high-end books like the Invisibility book on invisibility. Jack, let's go to Diagon Alley. Ryan grabbed the hand of the house elf Jack. Master, hold on tight. Ryan suddenly felt as if Jack's arm was about to break free from his hand, and the surroundings became dark. He was being squeezed hard from all directions and couldn't breathe at all. His chest seemed to be tightly constricted by several iron hoops. His eyeballs were pushed back into his head, his eardrums were pressed deep into his skull, and then he took in big gulps of air and opened his eyes that couldn't hold back tears. Ryan felt as if he had just been squeezed out of a very narrow rubber tube. After a few seconds, he came to his senses and found that he had disappeared from home. The place where he and Jack now stood was a small, cramped but well-appointed cabin. Master Ryan, this is the Leaky Cauldron. The Smith family has always had a secret cabin here. When we leave here later, we can go to Diagon Alley. Ryan followed Jack and pushed open the door. Down was a beautiful wooden staircase that led directly to the backyard of the Leaky Cauldron. On the way, Jack explained that this passage does not pass through the bar of the bar, and is full of magic that makes the wizard ignore it, because the Smith family does not like too many people. On the way, Jack took out a hat and put it on his head. Then the whole elf swelled and twitched, turning into a tall and handsome middle-aged man, who was the father of the original body, George Smith. Appearance. Master, although elves are proud not to appear in the eyes of others, some businesses also need someone to handle and keep an eye on them. So your grandfather invented this hat, so that he can spend his time on greater causes. Ryan couldn't help but complain, Smith is really a genius, no wonder he has so many inventions. Jack, who looked like George Smith, took out the prepared wand and tapped the third brick from the left above the trash can. Then he took a step back and looked at the archway that opened on the wall leading to Diagon Alley. What appeared in front of Ryan was a winding cobblestone street with no end in sight. This was Diagon Alley, finally coming to the magical world in a real sense. Ryan couldn't help but curl his lips. At the entrance is Partridge's Crucible Shop, with a gleaming sign outside that reads, Cauldrons, all sizes, copper, brass, pewter, silver. Self-stirring. Collapsible. Opposite it is Sluggick's Pharmacy, filled with a wide variety of potions, dragon liver, fox eggs, ooze grass, frog brains, chopped ginger root. Some strange shops that could only be seen in books and movies in the previous life kept appearing in front of him. Flourish and Blott's bookstore, Magic Menagerie, Quidditch boutique. Father, how about we walk around Diagon Alley first? Ryan suggested, pretending to be a mature underage child. As soon as he finished speaking, Ryan couldn't help but think that he was the same in his previous life. No matter where he went, he would habitually walk around first. Okay. Jack, who looked like George Smith, didn't notice Ryan's expression change and nodded slightly. Then, Ryan came to Florin's cold drink shop and ordered a cup of Harry Potter's chocolate with raspberries and crushed nuts ice cream. He slowly walked around Diagon Alley. There were not many people in Diagon Alley now, and there was still some time before the current students started school. However, the aesthetics of the wizarding world are really flawed. Except for some wizards with poor conditions, most of them wear bright and colorful wizard robes. In the previous life or the Muggle world, most of them were the colors commonly used by women. Ryan secretly complained, oh, I wonder if I will meet some characters from the original book. Chapter 4 Buying a Wand. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Speechless, really speechless, Ryan found that he was too naive. After all, each wizard had no name written on his face. Even if he met the original characters, he would not be able to recognize them. It's a pity that he is not old enough to buy a wand yet. Thinking of this, Ryan suddenly realized that he had lost his mind after traveling through time, so he couldn't buy it in advance. "Father, can I buy a wand?" "Yes. But I suggest you buy it when you are 11 years old before entering school," Jack replied. Sure enough, Jack never refuses. Here comes the wand. Ryan walked back and walked with Jack to the last shop in Diagon Alley, Ollivander's wand shop. The shop was small and shabby, and the gold sign on the door had peeled off. It read, "Ollivander's, making exquisite wands since 382 BC. In the dusty window, a solitary wand sat on a faded purple cushion. As they entered the store, bells jingled from somewhere behind the store. The shop is very small, with nothing else except a bench. Jack sat on the bench and waited, while Ryan recalled the original description. Harry had a strange feeling, as if he had arrived in a strictly regulated library. He suppressed the many new questions that had just arisen in his mind and began to look at the thousands of long and narrow cardboard boxes that almost reached the ceiling. For some reason, he suddenly felt uncomfortable. The dust and silence here seemed to make people feel that there is hidden mysterious magic. As mentioned in the book, the silence around him was terrifying, but even with a magic power of 16 and a thinking ability of level 2, Ryan was so anxious that he almost urinated and could not detect the fluctuations of magic that Harry Potter felt. Sure enough, as Ryan speculated, in addition to the nature of magic power, every wizard also has his own specialty. For example, Tonks's disguise Magus can naturally change his appearance freely. As for Harry Potter, it can be seen from the original description that he is very good at magical combat. Although he is short-sighted, his perception is super strong. In the 3rd grade, he used some physical patron uses that even skilled wizards cannot use. "Good afternoon," a soft voice said, startling Ryan. Suddenly there was a loud clicking sound, and an old man stood in front of them. His big, light-colored eyes were like 2 shining moons in the dim shop. "Hello." Ryan replied politely, tightening his little face. "This bad old man is very bad. I'm afraid he doesn't like to suddenly scare people. He must have come out a long time ago. He just kept silent." Harry said. Even Hagrid was taken aback. "Oh, yes," the old man said, yes, I know. I will see you soon, Ryan Smith, that's not a problem. Your eyes are just like your father's. He came here to buy. It seemed like yesterday that he had taken his first wand. It was 6 inches long, made of ash, and had a stubborn streak of loyalties that we had actually seen just last week. Mr. Ollivander walked up to Ryan and looked at him carefully. "Your mother is different. She likes acacia wood. It's 11 inches long, flexible, and more picky. It's hard to find the right wizard. It only shows its strength to the most talented people." I said your mother likes it. Of course it is the wand that chooses its wizard. He shook his head, and then recognized Jack's George Smith at a glance. This made Ryan sigh in relief. This old man talks a lot and has a good memory. Is it true that every little wizard whose parents are wizards will be talked about when he comes? Click your parents' wand. George Smith. What a pleasure to see you again. Ash wood, 6 inches long, right? Yes, Ollivander, why do you always mention my wand every time we meet? Jack said. We just communicated about the price of acacia wood last week. You also know that I need a lot of wood here, and I am also considered an old customer of yours. Smith has been cooperating with our family since 382 AD. What do you think of the price? Mr. Ollivander said, suddenly becoming Philistine. As far as I know, you don't need much inventory of acacia wood. The owners of acacia wood wands are usually careful wizards. As far as I know, there are relatively few wizards with this quality. Not all wizards have it. As careful as my wife. Jack replied in a pretentious manner, which was completely different from usual. Ryan almost thought that his father had not died yet. Okay, let's not talk about this first. Mr. Lane, come on. Let me take a look. He took out a long tape measure with silver scales from his pocket. Which arm do you use your wand with? I'm right-handed, Ryan said. Lift your arms. Okay. He measured Ryan's size, first from shoulder to fingertips, then from wrist to elbow, shoulder to floor, knees to armpits, and finally the head circumference. As he measured it, he said, each Ollivander's wand contains super powerful magical substances. This is its essence, Mr. Smith. We use unicorn hair, phoenix tail feathers and dragon nerves. Every Ollivander wand is unique, as no two unicorns, dragons, or phoenixes are exactly the same, and of course it won't be as good if you use a wand that belongs to another wizard. The effect. The service is really great, I remember the GG words so accurately, and I don't even have to change my lines, Ryan said. Next, Ollivander himself went to the shelves, busy selecting some long boxes to move down, while the tape measure operated automatically. Okay, he said, and the tape measure fell to the floor and rolled up into a ball. Well, Mr. Lane, try this one. Made of hawthorn wood and dragon heartstrings. It's 7 inches long. It's nice and pliable. Give it a try. This chapter is not finished yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. Ryan took the wand, and as soon as he waved it, Ollivander immediately took the wand away from him. Alder wood, phoenix feather, 8 inches long, not easy to bend, try it. Ryan was about to try, but before he could lift it, the wand was taken away by Ollivander again. No. Try this one. It's made of apple wood and unicorn hair. It's 8.5 inches long and very stretchy. Come on, try this one. Ryan tried one after another, secretly excited. He was indeed the protagonist, trying so many, the wands that had been tried were piled higher and higher on the bench. Ollivander also looked very happy for this picky customer. A picky customer, huh? It doesn't matter, I think you can always find the most ideal, perfect, and most suitable one for you here. Let me think about it. Oh, if you have it, how could you not? Extraordinary combination, holly wood, phoenix feathers, 11 inches long, and flexible. Ryan quickly took the wand, which was Harry Potter's. But Ollivander quickly grabbed the wand again. No. Try this, Aspen, a rare unicorn heartstring that can be used as a wand material. Come on, try this. A rare material. Ryan took the wand again, and then his fingertips felt slightly warm. He raised the wand high above his head, and swung it downwards with a swish. Through the dusty air, he saw only a white light, and the head of the wand was like fireworks. There was a constant crackling sound, Jack clapped his hands and cheered, and Ollivander shouted, "Oh, great, oh, really, great. Oh, it's amazing, it's amazing." He put Ryan's wand into the box, wrapped it in brown paper, and kept saying, "Wonderful, wonderful." "I'm sorry," said Ryan, "what is it about you that makes you wonder?" Mr. Ollivander stared at Ryan with pale, colorless eyes. Aspen is a white, fine-grained wood. It is treasured by all wand makers because of its sleek, ivory-like appearance and its ability to perform excellent spells. Those who are suitable for aspen wands are usually skilled or destined duelists, because aspen wands are particularly suitable for the use of combat magic, but this is not the magical thing about it. The wonderful thing is the core of the wand. Its core is the heartstring of a unicorn. You must know that except for the naturally shed hair of the unicorn, the materials in other parts are cursed unless it is voluntarily sacrificed. It is really an extraordinary combination. Makoto, 20 galleons. Ollivander continued. So expensive? Ryan couldn't help but be speechless. For every new student who enrolls at Hogwarts that year, the Ministry of Magic will subsidize the cost of buying a wand. If you don't buy it in advance, you can use the discount, which is 9 gold galleons. Turtle, doesn't it mean that this wand is 2 galleons more expensive than Harry Potter's after discount? That's awesome, Ryan said inwardly. Then Ryan asked Jack to pay and spent an additional 3 galleons to buy a wand cover and maintenance set. Chapter 5 Summary of the Spell. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. After leaving Ollivander's place for a while, Ryan still couldn't stop groping for his wand. It was a poplarwood wand as white as jade, with its door covered with strange lines. It was right next to another short and lean black knight in his arms. One black and one white. Let's call you White Knight, Ryan said silently in his mind. The frustration of not being able to feel the traces of magic power fluctuations was washed away by the joy of getting the wand. Father, it's a bit late. It's time to go shopping for books and go to Flourish and Blott's bookstore. Aren't you going to go shopping anymore? Jack asked with concern. After putting on the magic hat, Jack's tone was almost the same as that of his father George Smith in his memory. Ryan couldn't help but feel a little absent-minded. No. Ryan replied decisively. The sky was turning yellow at this time, and there were far fewer people in Diagon Alley. The little witches who came to purchase, the wild wizards, and the noisy dwarfs all walked towards each other in a hurry or leisurely manner. The Leaky Cauldron, Ryan and Jack also arrived at Flourish and Blott's bookstore at this time. Spell books as large as floor tiles and embossed with gold are displayed in bookstore windows. Entering the bookstore manager hurriedly came forward. Is it from Hogwarts? He asked unexpectedly, are you here to buy new books? I'm sorry, it happens not to be. Here is the book list. Here are the books I need. Give me a set of them. We will send someone to get them tomorrow. The manager took the book list, looked at it carefully, and couldn't help but get excited. Beginner's Guide to Transfiguration. Curse and Counter-Curse. Monsters and Their Origins. Magic Potions and Potions. Magical Theory. 1,000 Miracle Herbs and Mushrooms. Dark Powers, A Guide to Self-Defense. A History of Magic. Standard Spells, Elementary. Standard Spell, Level 2. Standard Spell, Level 3. Standard Spell, Level 4. Encyclopedia of Toadstools. The Monster Book of Monsters. Guide to Raising a Dragon. Types of Dragons in Great Britain and Ireland. From Hatching Egg to Nirvana. The Origins of Quidditch. Flying with the Artillery Team. Broomstick Care Manual. Walking with Ghouls. Holiday with a Dominatrix. Magical Me. Wandering with Mountain Monsters. Traveling with a Vampire. Wandering with Werewolves. A Year with XC Snowman. Put a Spell on Your Cheese. The Magic of Baking Bread. Conjure a Feast. Pull Through the Fog and See the Future. Important Magical Events of the 20th Century. The Great Wizard of the 20th Century. The Major Discoveries of Modern Magic. A History of Modern Magic. List of famous contemporary magicians. Research on the development of modern witchcraft. The Adventures of Crazy Muggle Martin Miggs. Bird or Monster. Powerful Potion. How Prefects Gain Power. The Invisible Book of Invisibility. Forgotten Ancient Magic and Spells. Omen of Death, What do you do when you know the worst is coming? A Guide to Medieval Witchcraft. Do we need a set of these? The manager asked tremblingly. Everything needs to be done. How long will it take to arrive at the earliest? Ryan asked impatiently. Have you ever noticed that when you go shopping to buy something, you always have to walk around first before buying something, as if time is worthless, but once you decide to go back, you feel like you are going back home, and feel that everything you do is a waste of time, and Ryan is such a person. He just wants to go home quickly and take a nice shower. It's fine tomorrow, but I have to calculate the cost. The manager wiped the sweat from his forehead. At this time, Jack interrupted, I will come again at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. This is a deposit of 300 gold galleons. You can get the quotation tomorrow and you will be refunded or compensated for any excess. Okay. The manager replied hurriedly. Let's go, Ryan. Yeah. Ryan nodded and said, wanting to get it done quickly and go home early, so, after returning to the leaky cauldron and quickly walking upstairs, with a crisp crackling sound, Ryan returned to the castle in Nottingham Forest. The next day, around 10 o'clock, Jack had already settled the payment and put all the books into a small bag, while the bookstore owner looked at him in a usual manner. Meanwhile, Ryan is working on his magic in the practice room. Wingardium Leviosa. Ryan muttered silently in his mind, waving his wand at the same time. Finally, the feather rose from the table and floated 4 feet above Ryan's head. Silent casting is trouble, and it finally succeeded. Once. Since purchasing new books and wands, Ryan has also discovered the inconvenience of the Black Knight. The successful casting of common modern magic spells mainly depends on 3 parts. First, recite the magic spell according to specific requirements. For example, the floating spell requires Wingardium Leviosa. The word plus must be long and clear. If you pronounce it wrong, you will look like Baruffio. The wizard, who said that Beth, instead of an Bess, found himself lying on the floor with a bison on his chest. Second, the wand must be waved according to specific requirements. The floating spell requires the wand to be waved and shaken while chanting the spell. This chapter is not over yet, please click the next page to continue reading. Third, it is self-confidence, believing that you can do it, which can replace the casting requirements of most magic. Except for some advanced spells, such as Avada Kedavra, which requires a strong and definite desire to kill, and the Patronus spell requires strong positive emotions. A small number of advanced spells only require the first and third, second and third steps, or it can be said that his creator consciously raised the casting requirements and deliberately deleted or did not create some steps. In fact, as long as the above 3 parts are fully included, as long as the requirements for emotions, that is, the third point, are not high, a first-year wizard can perform it completely, which is actually the development path of modern magic. With the advancement of magic, spells have become shorter, and specific ways of waving the wand have been added. This also reduces the casting requirements and improves stability. At the same time, the consumption of magic power is reduced, and the casting will be successful. At most, the power is insufficient, and there will be no incidents such as a spell draining magic power or even vitality. Can you imagine that in the past, casting magic required a fixed dance and strange gestures? If you have this spare time, you might as well use a sword, otherwise you would have been chopped to death by other wizards. Modern magic has changed all this. It is safe, fast and efficient. When you are familiar with a spell and are proficient in it, you can ignore the first 2 requirements one by one. Casting with the Black Knight is a bit strange. Aiming after waving the wand is in line with people's stereotypes of wands, and for a gun, waving it a few times before shooting. Ryan feels a little ashamed for some reason, although Ryan can also recite the Gutala magic gun expressionlessly. Alas, my hard-working life, I have to work hard to brush most common spells to the steps of silent casting, especially the gestures should be omitted as much as possible, otherwise the Black Knight will only be covered in dust, or only the dead can see me casting with him. Ryan thought to himself. It has been about 3 days since Ryan came back from Diagon Alley. During these 3 days, Ryan mainly studied standard spells, elementary, beginner's guide to transfiguration, and curses and counter-curses. In his spare time, he also read The Adventures of Martin Miggs, A Mad Muggle and Holidays with Hags. The Adventures of Martin Miggs, A Mad Muggle is a comic book. The original book was Ron's favorite in the 2nd grade. There are several volumes. Its first issue was published in the 1960s. It tells the story of a French Muggle Martin Miggs wearing a beret and a striped shirt who accidentally broke into the magic world. It is very interesting, especially from the perspective of an ordinary person. It's just that wizards see jokes about muggles, while I, an ordinary person in my previous life, see jokes about wizards. The author of this book is really interesting. I hope I don't think too much. Holidays with Hags was specifically selected from several works by Lockhart, and its name is more attractive. After watching it, I found that Lockhart is really good. The plot is full of ups and downs, and some boring dry goods are interspersed in it, which is not boring at all. And there is the female demon Mashiro, no, the real murderer. Ryan has no intention of going out. He plans to stay at home and study magic until he enters school. The following is Ryan's latest information. Race, wizard, strength, 10, the limit of ordinary people is 10, constitution, 27, the limit of ordinary people is 10, magic, 18, the limit of ordinary people is 10, skills, thinking LV2, 91%. Body transformation LV3, 35%. Alchemy LV2, 26%. Charms LV1, 89%. Potions LV1, 55%. Transfiguration LV1, 43%. Gunfighting LV1, 92%. Martial arts LV1, 86%. Chapter 6, Exploring the Mystery of House-Elves. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It was another sunny day. I completed the revised version of radio gymnastics and ate the house-elf version of potato stewed beef rice made by Ryan. I drank black tea and swam in the ocean of memory as usual. Suddenly I recalled the description of the second floor of the black old house, a row of wrinkled heads gathered on the wall next to the stairs. They were all the heads of house-elves who were old and unable to move and had their heads cut off. Something was wrong. There were so many house-elves in Sirius's family, and only Creature was left in the end. But according to the description in the original book, house-elves also have parents. In the original book, Winky said that she took care of the Crouch family since she was born. Before her, it was her mother and her grandmother. There won't be only Jack, an elf in our family. Jack. Ryan called. Master Ryan. Jack suddenly appeared. Are you the only house elf in our family? Master Ryan, our family has always served the Smith family, but our elves are proud to keep everything in order without appearing in front of the master, but at the same time, only one elf will often appear in front of the master, and the others will stay in the kitchen and other places to work. I wonder if you have heard of Creature. Master, are you talking about Creature of the Black family? It is an unqualified elf. I heard from friends that he is dizzy all day and the house is a mess. Okay, I have a general understanding. I'm done eating. You clean up. I want to take a nap. After a long communication with Jack, Ryan found that elves also have their own small society. Just like Winky, the Crouch and Malfoy families are two unrelated families, but Winky knows Dobby, knows his character, knows that he yearns for freedom and is ashamed of it. According to the original book, elves should mostly serve a wizard family as a family unit, but they also have their own society. They know some excellent or extraordinary elves. Otherwise, how could there be children and births? It's just that most wizards never bother to understand. It's really interesting, this magical world. It was evening. Ryan's dinner today was 3 cups chicken. Jack's cooking skills were really amazing. He could make a dish from other countries based on Ryan's words, and it was just right. I don't know why, maybe because of Hermione, or because of Jack's unusual behavior when he went to Diagon Alley last time. Ryan was particularly curious about the house-elves today. After dinner, Ryan summoned Jack again. Jack, what did you feel when you put on my grandfather's magic hat when you went to Diagon Alley last time? Master Ryan, after putting on the magic hat, I lost consciousness. It was the memory left by Master George. My mind was working, and I also remembered who I was. I woke up only after taking off the magic hat. Jack, do you have a child? Yes, it's called Claude, and it's still an immature elf, always helping in the kitchen. Ryan has satisfied his curiosity for today, and asked Jack to send Percy's favorite How the Prefect Gets Power in the original book. He looked at the political struggles in the wizarding world with a critical eye, and kept sighing. That's it. After staying up until the night, after washing up, Ryan fell asleep. In the dream, he was constantly ridiculed for not being able to sense magic like the protagonist in the wand shop. Various heads floated in the air, surrounding Ryan and constantly saying dirty words. Among them were the head of Zoe in Ryan's previous life, Daniel's Harry Potter, Emma's version of Hermione, and even Jack. What's going on? Ryan woke up and found that his thinking skill proficiency had increased again. Ryan suddenly thought that he had a system. As long as he worked hard in one direction, no matter how strong Harry Potter's perception of magic was, he could do it, and even see the panels of other people and creatures like in the game. 3 months passed, so, 1 hour after taking a nap every day, Ryan added an unshakable behavior or habit, that is to observe, send Jack to deliver different substances or lives every day, touch, watch from different angles, and summarize. Finally, Ryan's panel changed. Race, Wizard, Strength, 13, normal limit is 10, Constitution, 28, normal limit is 10, Magic, 20, normal limit is 10. Skills, Thinking LV3, 11%. Body Transformation LV3, 54%. Alchemy LV2, 44%. Charms LV2, 19%. Potions LV2, 2%. Transfiguration LV2, 53%. Gunfighting LV2, 2%. Martial Arts LV2, 6%. Reconnaissance LV1, 2%. Jack, stand still and don't resist for a while. Ryan stared at the summoned Jack and tightened his face. A transparent blue frame appeared in Ryan's retina. On the upper right is Jack's full body portrait. Smooth and hairless, with big ears like an elder bat, eyes as big as tennis balls, and a black butler's uniform. Above is Jack's data: race, House-Elf, strength, 6, normal limit is 10, Constitution, 22, normal limit is 10, Magic, 33, normal limit is 10, skills, cleaning LV5, 56%. Apparition LV4, 33%. Magic control LV3, 65%. Planting LV2, 32%, cooking LV59, 33%, what dazzling statistics. Except for strength and physique, everything else far exceeds mine. It is indeed very powerful. In the 7th part, the elf army played a huge role in the Hogwarts security station, just like Creature can even disapparate where Voldemort hides his Horcruxes. Although this may be because Voldemort sincerely looks down on elves, it seemed that he was going to break his promise again, so Ryan decided to find an ice cream shop on the street in England, and polish his skills while eating, to see who else could escape his eyes in the future. Ha 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 ha, Harry Potter, why are you fighting with me? Point 12 Little Newport St. Chinatown, WC2H, 7JJ, next to Chinatown, a sweet shop with a very authentic old Guangzhou flavor. I selected this place based on Ryan's many visits. It is not particularly sweet and does not have all kinds of messy pigments, but these are covered up. I couldn't help Ryan's mood at this time. In the book The Magic of Names, Ryan learned that names actually contain magic. Ryan, who inherited the surname Smith, should be as difficult to detect by ordinary people as his ancestors, but Ryan didn't expect that after traveling through time, he seemed to activate the wonderful magic power in this body. His handsome face made Ryan shine like a luminous body in the crowd. Alas, the dream of being alone was shattered. Ryan had a bad face, but there were still all kinds of big sisters and weird aunties coming over to chat with her. In other words, the more Ryan looked like this, the more excited they became. Seeing this, the shopkeeper on the side specially exempted Lane from ordering, attracting so many female customers to Lane. Along with the female customers came scattered male customers. Sure enough, just like a bar where there are many high-quality female customers, male customers also come. As people came and went, Ryan discovered that most ordinary people's physiques were below 10 and had no magic power. Ryan suddenly remembered the initial evaluation of magic power on his panel, which was a special variant of mental power. Ryan thought, looking at the constantly refreshed proficiency of his investigative skills in his mind, Ryan suddenly felt that these hardships were nothing. Chapter 7 Penelope. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Little brother, is it delicious? It's obviously not sweet. A blonde girl in her teens with a pretty face approached. Hey, the boss is still here, why don't you just complain here? Ryan secretly complained, don't you think the ice cream nowadays is too sweet? And if you want to maintain a good figure, ice cream with less sugar is also a good choice. Ryan, who saw that he couldn't get rid of it, answered unhappily, After Ryan answered the blonde beauty who approached him unhappily, Ryan suddenly realized something. This girl is incredible, this is a trace of magic, let me take a look. Race, wizard, strength, 6, normal limit is 10, constitution, 19, normal limit is 10, magic, 15, normal limit is 10, skills, charms LV1, 9%, potions LV1, 5%, transfiguration LV1, 3%, herbology LV1, 1%, astronomy LV1, 2%, defense against the dark arts LV1, 1%. Some common skills such as reading and cooking are omitted. This value is stronger than when Ryan first crossed over, but the magic power of wizards in this world mainly depends on age, and then look at yourself. She is older than Ryan, which is normal. It is expected that her strength is weaker than Ryan. In the magic world, except for giants and half-bloods, there is no one who can match Ryan's strength. This is not what wizards pursue. Perhaps some rare schools will involve it, however, judging from the physique, it is estimated that the wizard's physique is higher than that of normal humans, and the same is true for mental power, that is, magic power, but there is no difference in strength alone. According to some of Smith's books and memories of his past life, the physique of wizards is more reflected in magic resistance and vitality, but the weaknesses are the same as normal humans. If there is a problem with the heart and brain, they will die. Unlike Ryan, who has a system, physical resistance, magic resistance, vitality, etc. are all-round development. And agility and speed mainly depend on the combination of strength and physique. At the same time, the girl's face turned slightly red. How long do you want to watch? Ryan couldn't help blushing. He was not a person who was willing to suffer verbal losses. He bit back and asked, "You are a student of Hogwarts, you haven't enrolled in the first grade yet?" "As far as I know, Hogwarts is September 1st every year, and school will start in 2 days. You don't prepare your homework well and come out to tease the children." "How do you know? Do I look like a witch?" "Your magic family, I mean, is there a wizard in your family?" Sorry, I don't seem to have introduced myself yet. My name is Penelope Clearwater, you can just call me Penelope." Penelope asked curiously, "This chick is Penelope, Percy's future girlfriend?" "That's right, they are in the same grade, and the class leader is the 5th grader. Harry Potter and Ryan are the same age. When he entered school, Percy officially became the class leader, which means Percy is 4 years older than Ryan, and Penelope is the same." However, Ryan remembered that from Harry's own perspective, Penelope was a girl with long curly hair. Unexpectedly, she was a blonde girl. She looked pretty good, and she was indeed a Ravenclaw. Now she started to prepare for her lessons. "I saw you in Diagon Alley," Ryan pretended, and then changed the subject. "My name is Ryan, Ryan Smith. I am from a wizard family. I am a little curious. Have you tried to cast magic when you are about to enter school?" "How many do you know?" "I tried a few simple spells at home, just for practice, and they all worked." Penelope said embarrassedly, typical Hermione words. Next, Ryan led the topic to Diagon Alley, making up for the last loophole in the lie, and made an appointment to meet here in the next 2 days to discuss magic. After returning home, Ryan couldn't help thinking that he didn't expect that he, a otaku, could still chat well, but it was a bit strange. When Hermione used a fake name to pretend to be a wizard from a wizard family in the 7th book, she used Penelope's name. Was it just like the Vernon Dudley that Harry made up? Hermione shouldn't be so careless. It turns out that Penelope is also from a Muggle family. It can't be to find a topic to chat up. By the way, when Harry was in the 2nd grade, wasn't Penelope attacked and petrified by a basilisk? Only those born in Muggles were attacked by basilisks, right? It can't be an accidental injury. Flipping through Ryan in the Memory Palace, I found that there was no direct description of her bloodline in the original book. Never mind, Percy, you have no girlfriend. Ryan felt that the next 2 days passed very quickly. Whether in the past life or this life, Ryan hated crowded places. He forced himself to go to the cold drink shop before, mainly to see the food, and secondly to brush up the proficiency of the detection skill. Now Ryan thinks it's because of friendship. He is still young, and Penino should just be friends with me because I am cute, well-read and know a lot about the wizarding world. Ryan, I'm a little worried. I haven't learned magic before. Will it be, Penino, don't worry. Most little wizards in the wizarding world are not as good as you think. Don't be afraid of me. I'm a special case. Ryan interrupted quickly. Little wizards in the wizarding world all go to school at the age of 11, and there is no such thing as elementary school. Most of them stay at home and are not allowed to have wands. Unlike Muggles, they don't have complete teaching. Mathematics and Chinese are not introduced until a while after school starts. Most of them find it difficult to write a complete article. Okay, I understand. I read a section in Hogwarts, a school history, that Hogwarts is divided into Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw and Slytherin. What kind of hospital is it based on? Penelope blushed slightly. This chapter is not over, please click on the next page to continue reading. Looking at the character, the school emblem of Gryffindor is the lion. What we want is a brave and fearless young wizard, but what comes out more is reckless, impulsive, and getting into trouble every day. The school emblem of Hufflepuff is the badger, and it is declared to the outside world young wizards who need honesty and hard work are actually welcome to young wizards of all personalities and accept all. Gossip is usually spread from Hufflepuff, which is closest to the kitchen, and the common room is the most comfortable. The school emblem of the school is an eagle, and they are looking for smart and wise little wizards who are very picky. I dare say Penino, you will definitely be suitable. But on the other hand, it is in 3 colleges, which 3, except Slytherin, Slytherin attracts too much hatred. Yeah, Ryan rubbed his throat and interrupted in a pretentious manner. Getting back to the subject, it behaves a bit unsociable to the outside world, and the relationship within the school is also relatively organized and indifferent. Most of them like to read books by themselves. It is also called the Nerd College by other colleges. And our finale college, Slytherin, has a snake as its school emblem. They are all young wizards with good blood and ambition, which has also led to a very bad atmosphere in the school. Most of the Slytherins value results more and do not compromise on means. They are permanent members of Azkaban and are as fast as Gryffindor. There are more, but students from Gryffindor can generally only be regarded as day students in Azkaban. They usually make some minor mistakes constantly. There are fewer Ravenclaws, and most of them are, well, Muggles. According to the world's theory, they are all economic criminals, or they have conducted experiments and caused major magical accidents. Hufflepuff is half and half. They have the most people, but the number of dark wizards is still not as high as that of Slytherin. Merlin, I have never seen so many in books. Penelope exclaimed. There are some things that cannot be written in books. Slytherins are old people in the magical world. According to their own statement, they are pure-blood nobles. Of course, they just claim that there are no nobles in the magical world. They occupy the majority of the magical world. Some of the production means are generally relatively rich, and with their unscrupulous methods, except for those who accidentally entered Azkaban, they are relatively influential in the Ministry of Magic. After all, few people can get along with gold and magic. All of them are from senior officials of the 4 major colleges. Some facts that slander their colleges cannot be mentioned in the book, especially the 3 major colleges with a relatively positive image. Although we have gone through the reports in the past few years to extract the data in them, you know it. Ryan said, a little tired, and took a bite of ice cream. I couldn't help but feel happy in my heart. Now that Penino doesn't know much about the magic world, I should tell her the facts first, so as to avoid misalignment of the following 3 views and difficulty in further development. It's just a little strange how Penelope always manages to strike up a conversation at the right time, but it should be because she has read the relevant books before. After all, Ravenclaw, but fortunately, the topic was diverted away from my age. However, this rapid progress is also related to Penelope's beautiful personality. In his previous life, he insisted on not falling in love until he graduated from high school. He thought that sweet love would usher in college, but the sudden time travel destroyed everything. What kind of magic is love, the most powerful magic in the world? Next, he and Penelope chatted about some light topics. When the sky got darker, Ryan and Penelope agreed to write letters frequently when Penelope arrived at Hogwarts, and then they went back to their respective homes. In the days that followed, with Penelope leaving, Ryan gradually stopped going to the cold drink shop. The next few times I went there occasionally, I could still hear the boss complaining that the business had plummeted since Ryan left and when he was there. Chapter 8, Meet on Halloween. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Recently, I discovered a boring new function of the system, writing a diary. For me who has a photographic memory, it is undoubtedly useless, but it is also interesting to record some things that cannot be expressed to others. September 1st, sunny, Penelope started school. Will she still go to Ravenclaw? According to the original fate, she and Percy will not be together until the 4th year, and they will be open to each other until they become the head of the class in the 5th year. In the morning, breakfast is beef noodles. I finally eat noodles. Jack is really amazing. I am tired of eating Italian noodles. Exercise, think about Penelope, write letters. At noon, lunch is beef stewed with potatoes and tomatoes. Well, it is more appetizing than braised beef. The beef is very soft. Read books, think about Penelope, take a nap, and wait for letters. In the evening, dinner is shredded potatoes and winter melon meatball soup. Well, the evening should be light. Read books and wait for letters. September 2nd, rainy. Why hasn't Penelope replied yet? It should be because she was too excited when she just arrived at school. In the morning, breakfast was noodles with soybean paste. As expected, I should eat noodles in the morning. I exercised, thought about Penelope, and waited for the letter. At noon, today's lunch was cream-baked snails with steak. Isn't this just a bigger snail? It's delicious, Penelope finally replied. She went to Ravenclaw and was very excited. She asked if I could predict the future. There was an independent library in Ravenclaw with many notes of seniors. The first day was the spell class, which was taught by their dean. The dean was Professor Flitwick. However, he didn't teach any spells at the beginning. He just talked about the spells to be learned this year and the precautions. First-year students should not use magic in private, etc. At night, they also use telescopes to observe the starry sky, learn the names of different stars and the orbits of planets. It is said that this is done every Wednesday. Tonight, dinner was grilled steak, and the side dish was Yorkshire pudding with my favorite black tea. Write letters and read books. September 3rd, cloudy, waiting for the letter. I am more eager for Hogwarts, not like the expectation in the movies and novels in my previous life. It is like knowing that I will marry my favorite person tomorrow, and I will win the lottery jackpot tomorrow. In the morning, breakfast is Italian meat sauce noodles, commonly known as tomato fried noodles, delicious. Exercise, waiting for the letter. At noon, lunch is eggplant stew, salty and fresh, soft and rotten, good with rice, delicious, Penelope replied, briefly talking about her excitement, the strange questions when she entered, and their class leader, Tiger, a rough-looking wizard, tall and strong, who gave each freshman a schedule. I guessed it right before. Every Wednesday night, they have to take astronomy class. 3 times a week, they are taken to the greenhouse behind the castle by a short and fat witch named Sprout, the head of Hufflepuff, to study herbology, learn how to cultivate these strange plants and fungi and understand their uses. There is also a Transmigration class. According to convention, the first class should be learning to turn wood into needles. September 4th, sunny, waiting for the letter. Recently, I found that the feelings I gain from brushing spell proficiency through the system are a little different from those in the book. Is it more suitable for me, or is the book wrong or relative truth? In the morning, breakfast was dumplings with shrimp, which was really exciting. In the past life, because I lived in the inland area, my parents always regarded shrimp as precious. Even after the economy improved, shrimp could be bought everywhere. Every time I made it, I blanched it without even removing the shrimp thread. Dumplings with shrimp are undoubtedly rare in my opinion. It's a pity that I traveled through time before I went to college and became independent, otherwise I could eat more shrimp dishes. I talked a lot today. I rarely miss my past life, but I am not an only child, and I have a brother to take care of my parents, so it's okay. Exercise and read books. At noon, I had no appetite and had a steak casually. The letter arrived. Penelope said that Ravenclaw is not good either. Except for Kate, her roommate, she has almost no friends. Others admired her recent performance and did not communicate further. Every day I read books. Although reading books is also very interesting, Penelope said she regretted it a little. The Sorting Hat originally wanted to put her in Hufflepuff, but due to some prejudice or concerns, it finally chose Ravenclaw. She said that she could never be a Hufflepuff again. Penelope also talked a lot today. Could it be that we are in a spiritual trough? Unfortunately, I can only write some words in my diary, so, I introduced Penelope to the secret passage of Hogwarts and the magical room of requirement, hoping that this can divert her attention and make daily life interesting. In the evening, I ate a few bites of bread for dinner. Only Chinese food and dishes in my memory can accompany me. Unknowingly, 2 months have passed. I wrote to Penelope almost one letter every day, and decided to focus on alchemy and a few practical spells, such as the armor charm. The reconnaissance skills are enough, and thinking and body transformation are unshakable. I slowly improve with reading and exercise. November 1st, 1987, just happened to be Halloween, and it had been a month since the start of school at Hogwarts. Race, Wizard, Strength, 15, normal limit is 10, Constitution, 29, normal limit is 10, Magic, 21, normal limit is 10. Skills, Thinking LV3, 15%. Body Transformation LV3, 57%. Alchemy LV2, 47%. Charms LV2, 22%. Potions LV2, 11%. Transfiguration LV2, 63%. Gunfighting LV2, 23%. Martial Arts LV2, 14%. Reconnaissance LV1, 78%. Hogsmeade Village, also known as Hogsmeade for short, is the only village in the UK that is entirely composed of wizards. It is located in Scotland. It was founded by Hengise of Woodcroft. Students of Hogwarts can travel here on weekends, but only students in the 3rd grade and above who have obtained permission from their parents or other guardians can go there. There are many shops here, such as the most famous Honeydukes in the UK, whose full name is Honeydukes Candy Store. I previously introduced the secret passage from Hogwarts to Honeydukes to Penelope in my letter. It is behind the one-eyed witch statue on the 4th floor of Hogwarts. Click it with a magic wand. The spell is to separate the left and right. The hunchback of the statue will immediately open a passage large enough for a slightly thin person to enter. The journey takes about an hour according to the description of the original Harry Potter. Penelope and I made an appointment on Halloween, which is today. We both dressed up as monsters and met at Madame Putafoot's tea house in Hogsmeade Village at 2 p.m. Finally, I'm going to see Penelope in Hogwarts. Going to the wizarding village of Hogsmeade will not only allow me to get closer to a real wizarding village, which is different from just looking at it in books, but I can also see the outline of Hogwarts from a distance, but I won't dress up as a monster when the time comes. I'll go to Honeydukes in advance to give Penelope a surprise. It will be fun to suddenly appear behind her. Chapter 9 Weird Roommate. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Kate Lewinster is a little witch who is a bit gossipy. Soon after she entered school, she was honored as Rita Skeeter too. Kate was a little happy at first, but when she thought about the reputation of this senior sister, it was undoubtedly a derogatory name. This nickname can only be taken out by the little eagles like Ravenclaw. They are always happy to take some seemingly positive nicknames, and only smart people can find the deep meaning in them. The reason why she has this nickname is because of the crying boy Rocky incident. Rocky, a sarcastic little wizard, Hufflepuff. His favorite thing is to specifically satirize some beautiful little witches. I think it should be to attract attention, and Penelope is one of them. Kate herself was a little disappointed at the time. Why wasn't she the one who came to the door? But looking at her height and baby face, everything is clear. In order to help Penelope, Kate relied on her natural stealth talent to take a picture of Rocky's black underwear, spread it widely, and cleverly took herself out. After Rocky found out, He cried loudly in the hall and was called the crying boy by everyone. Kate's behavior was still discovered by some young eagles, so the name Rita Skeeter too spread in a small range in Ravenclaw. Kate recently discovered another strange thing. Her roommate, Penelope, a half-blood witch, received letters every day, and every time she received a letter, she would show a strange smile. After replying the letter, she would hide the letter in a box. The box had ferocious fangs, and anyone who was not herself would be bitten, and Kate found that Penelope's frequency of writing letters had increased from 1 letter a day to 2 letters a day. Recently, Halloween is coming soon, and Kate found that Penelope's schedule has also changed. In her spare time, she did not go to the library, but sneaked to the 4th floor alone, and then disappeared strangely, and she was nowhere to be seen for a whole afternoon. As a responsible little witch, Kate was worried whether Penelope had been under a strange spell or read some book, just like anyone who had read the book Sonnets for Wizards could only speak in limericks for the rest of their lives. An old wizard in Bath has a book that you can never put down once you read it. You bury your face in the book wherever you go. Kate was worried whether Penelope had read a book that made her write crazy letters or made little wizards disappear mysteriously. I am definitely worried about her, not for any other reason. Kate hypnotized herself. On the morning of November 1st, today was Halloween, and there was only one potions class in the morning with Hufflepuff. Kate was very glad that she was not a little wizard from Gryffindor, and she was in class with Hufflepuff. Most of her firepower was concentrated on the little wizards from Hufflepuff, and she would occasionally say 1 or 2 venomous words to the little wizards from Ravenclaw. Moreover, some studious little wizards from Ravenclaw found that the operations in Professor Snape's venomous tongue seemed to be more concise than some operations in the book. The other little wizards had already changed into Halloween costumes, but none of the first-year Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff little wizards dared to change. When the get-out of class was over, they all ran back to the college lounge and bedroom to change their costumes. Kate dressed up as a werewolf, while Penelope made up as a vampire, the most common and popular costume, and also wore a half-mask. There were no other classes today. Kate found that Penelope went to the abandoned classroom on the 4th floor again. Kate dressed up very vividly this time, and even Penelope could not recognize her. Moreover, she did not tell Penelope about her Halloween costume in advance. So she followed Penelope in a swagger, so that Penelope did not notice it. Kate came prepared this time. She put an extra box in the abandoned classroom. She hid in the box before Penelope, so that she could observe how Penelope disappeared. The box had been placed in the abandoned classroom for several days, and Penelope had long been accustomed to it, but she thought she had not noticed it before. From Kate's perspective, Penelope walked behind the statue of the one-eyed witch, took out her wand, and chanted left and right separation, and then there was no movement. Kate waited for a while, and found that there was still no movement, so she also walked behind the statue, took out her wand, and also tapped the statue, and chanted, left and right separation. The hunchback of the statue immediately opened, large enough for a slightly thin person to enter. Kate quickly looked back and forth in the corridor, took a few deep breaths to cheer herself up, and then crawled into the hole with her head forward and moved forward in the hole. After Kate entered the passage, this section of the road was as slippery as a stone slide. Kate resisted the urge to scream and slid for a long distance before she touched the cold and wet land. Kate stood up and looked around. It was pitch black all around. Kate was glad that she was studious and had learned a few small spells, then raised her wand and muttered, flashing fluorescence. Then she saw herself in a very narrow and low passage. Kate shone the light of the wand on herself and found that there was no dust on her body. I guess there was also strange magic in the previous passage. The passage was winding and twisting, just like a rabbit tunnel. Kate walked hurriedly, stumbling from time to time due to the uneven ground, and she held her wand in front of her all the way. After about an hour, the passage stretched upwards. Kate wanted to give up several times, but she thought, since she had come this far, she panted and quickened her pace. 10 minutes later, she came to the foot of a broken stone staircase, which stretched all the way up to a place he could not see. Kate was careful not to make any noise, so as not to be discovered by Penelope ahead, and then she began to climb up, 100 steps, 200 steps, to avoid boredom. She counted while climbing, and then she lost count. Kate climbed and climbed, paying attention to her feet. Then, she bumped into something hard. Could it be that she climbed too fast? But Penelope's but wasn't that hard. Kate was thinking wildly at this time. Kate embarrassedly found that it was just her illusion. It seemed to be a trapdoor. Kate stood there, touching her head that was hurt by the collision, and listened. She couldn't hear any sound above, so she slowly pushed open the trapdoor and peeked out secretly. She was in a cellar, surrounded by wooden chairs and wooden boxes. Kate climbed out of the trapdoor and gently closed it. The door was integrated with the dusty floor, and it was really hard to tell that there was such a door on the floor. Kate slowly climbed towards the wooden staircase leading upstairs. Now she was sure she heard various voices, not to mention the ringing of bells and the opening and closing of doors. Kate didn't know what to do, so she went up the stairs. Kate reached the door at the top of the stairs, slipped through it, and found herself behind a counter. She bent down, crawled to the side, and then straightened up. Phew, so tired. Chapter 10 The Leaked Secret. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Continuing from last time, Honeydukes was packed with Hogwarts students, so no one would even look at Kate. Plus, it was Halloween, and everyone was dressed up as monsters and ghosts. Kate was walking among them, looking around for Penelope. The store was filled with shelves and shelves of the most fascinating candies one could imagine, chunks of butter peanut brittle, shimmering pink coconut sorbet, hundreds of neatly arranged chocolates, a vat of multi-flavored beans, a bucket of fizzy bees, floating sherbet drinks, and along another wall, special effects candies, blowing super bubble gum, which fills the room with bluebell-colored bubbles that won't burst for days. Strange shards of fluffy teeth mints, tiny black pepper urchins, blow fire out of your nose for your friends, ice rats, hear your teeth chatter and creak, butter mints shaped like toads, actually jump in your stomach, crunchy sugar quills, and exploding bonbons. Yes, this is Hogsmeade, the wizarding village that only third graders can visit, and this is the legendary Honeydukes. Kate forgot for a moment that she was here to track down Penelope, and her saliva couldn't help but come out. But sometimes, the more you don't want to find something, the more it suddenly appears in front of you. Penelope stood in a corner, half of her face showing a look she had never seen before. Opposite her was a boy who caught people's attention, not only because he was the only one who didn't cross-dress, but because he was too handsome. He wore a black wizard robe, black hair, and glowing white skin. His silvery eyes were deep and shiny, and his slight baby fat made him look even more cute. Yes, Penelope turned out to have a lover. Next, it was Ryan's perspective. It was a bright morning, and Ryan got up early. Today's breakfast was chickpeas, fried sausages and eggs, with a cup of hot milk, a simple English breakfast. After killing time for breakfast, Ryan started exercising again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, this time doesn't count, let's do it again. Ryan's movements are constantly changing with the slogans he recites in his heart. Between the changes, there are lights and shadows like the Milky Way flashing around him. Ryan's breathing is also full of incomparable charm, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, sometimes clear, sometimes low. I'm afraid that even his creator doesn't recognize this radio gymnastics, which is full of special effects. With the continuous evolution of body transformation skills, this gymnastics has long been unrecognizable. This gymnastics is no longer a simple few movements to complete. The rhythm of breathing, the slogans recited in the heart, the emotional expressions corresponding to each movement, and even the flow of magic are included. In order to complete a complete gymnastics, apart from Ryan's extraordinary talent, even Dumbledore is estimated to be unable to complete it. After all, this is the skill Ryan developed to overtake in the magic world. With the Black Knight, there are only a handful of people who can go through a round in Ryan's hands now. After exercise, you naturally have to take a shower. Although it was not the first time to take a bath, Ryan could not help but feel surprised. This bathroom was not allowed to be entered by Ryan when George Smith was still alive. Although Ryan's bathroom was also luxurious, it was nothing compared to this one. As soon as you look up at the entrance, you can see a starry sky, which is full of all the constellations that modern wizards can see. It is like a dream. It must be the masterpiece of an ancestor who loves astronomy. The stars cast a warm and soft light in the room. The bathtub exudes mist, like clouds and mist. The floor of the bathroom is covered with green lawns, and there are rockery in the interlaced space, and unknown flowers are dotted in it. The lawn is not unexpectedly fake. There is a cool and wonderful touch when you step on it, just like a pair of cold and moist little hands massaging the soles of your feet. The bathtub in the middle is right next to the rockery. It is like an irregular natural hot spring. There are about 100 inconspicuous holes, which are faucets, on the rockery next to the bathtub, and there is also a diving board. A pile of fluffy white towels, like a snowy mountain, were placed on a dry stone platform next to the hot spring. Entering the bath, there was only a painting on the wall opposite the rockery, framed in a gilded frame. The painting showed a sea leaning against several rocks. It was a good time. There happened to be a blonde mermaid, sleeping soundly on the rocks, with her long hair brushing her face, trembling slightly with every breath she took. Ryan didn't plan to waste too much time this time. After a simple wash, he didn't wake up the mermaid on the rock, and put on a simple black wizard robe and prepared to set off. Accompanied by crackling sounds. Under the leadership of Jack, they finally arrived at the wizard village Hogsmeade. It was still early for the agreed 2 o'clock. It was only about 11 o'clock now. Ryan wanted to come here in advance to check the place so that he could carry out a day's itinerary later. After sending Jack away, Ryan went to the famous Three Broomsticks first. This was a tavern, but there were also some simple food. Entering the tavern, it was already full of festive atmosphere. A plump lady in bright clothes was walking around the store. If nothing unexpected happened, she was Ms. Rosmerta, Ron's secret crush. Seeing Ryan walk into the tavern, the weathered Ms. Rosmerta couldn't help but be dazzled by what a handsome young man he was. "Happy Halloween, young gentleman, what do you want?" Ms. Rosmerta couldn't help but approach Ryan and asked softly and gently. "Ms. Rosmerta, another glass of butter beer." A bald middle-aged wizard in the seat next to him shouted. "Okay, please wait a moment." Ms. Rosmerta replied in another voice, which was not bad and was also bright, but compared with the previous one, how should I put it, it was a bit scary. The bald middle-aged wizard couldn't help shrinking his neck. "Little gentleman, it's Halloween now, and there are Halloween special drinks." Mrs. Rosmerta immediately changed back to the previous tone, and Ryan interrupted politely, "A glass of butter beer will be fine. Is there anything else to eat?" "Food? There are sausage rolls, fried pork skins, and Yorkshire puddings." Maybe it was the first time that someone came to the pub and paid more attention to food. Mrs. Rosmerta did her best to name the dishes, ignoring the eye-catching menu not far from the bar. Then the sausage roll plus a steak with potato salad. Ryan pretended that he didn't see the menu. After placing a simple order, Ryan picked up his only entertainment, Lockhart Sailing with Vampires, and chatted with Madame Rosmerta from time to time to pass the time.